have to eat like slaves anymore because we're not slaves.
If you cannot control what you eat, then you cannot control what you feel.
Eat your largest meals in the middle of the day, not the end of the day.
What part the homeostasis plays, you're on your way to healing yourself. The homeostasis is the internal environment where your body is at its ultimate functionality for healing. Just keep in mind that everything that is happening to you is happening for you.
Hello, and grand rising to all. I am Carolyn Gentle, and you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zari, the nutritionist. And today we're talking all about the gut, healthy gut and healthy life. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is Dr. Farid Zari. Thank you all so much. If you can, please share the live so others can be a part of the conversation. We are live on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Thank you all so much for joining us. Share. Dr. Zari, go ahead and join me here on stage so we can get the party going, get it started.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Hello.
Can you see me, Kara?
I can see you.
Okay, can you hear me? I guess you can hear me too, right?
I can hear you.
Okay, so let's get it on. It's going to be a really beautiful presentation today. We're going to talk about your gut health. Now, this is something that we never get tired of because it's something that we really can use right away. We can use these things immediately. And the more that you understand about your body, the more that we can do to help you take care of you. So thank you very much for being here this morning. I want to thank everybody for getting out of that bed, turning it on, and so we can turn you on with some more information about the wonderful you. Kara, how have you been doing before we get started?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing great. My sister had her baby shower last week. So we are in baby waiting mode. We're to arrive, but that's like not for another good month. But you know how those things tend to go. But it was really beautiful. It was really beautiful.
That's awesome. And how's the father of the soon to come child doing?
Oh, yeah, Eric, I was about to say smart. Eric Lloyd, yeah, he is the Bentons. He's doing great. They're wonderful. Just happy, excited to meet their new bundle of joy, wisdom. So
that's awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take out your pens, take some notes. Please just don't let this information just fly by because it's something that you can use right away. We're going to get started by saying good morning to those people that are joining us also live on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook this morning. We really appreciate it as we meet you here every Saturday at 8 a.m. PST. Please, this is a family affair, so we want you to invite those people in your family to listen to the information that we have. Some of you will have a very difficult time with some of the information that we're sharing because it takes time. So little by little, do all that you can to improve the way that we eat, the way that we sleep, and our commitment to exercise is not about being perfect. It's about being committed. So we're here to elevate, we're here to update, and we're here to educate. And that is exactly why we want to thank you for being here because we can't do it without you. All right, before we get going, here's your last chance.
I'm always encouraging everyone just to share the live stream. Share the live stream so we can have others be a part of the conversation. And I know Dr. Zarif has some great information for us today. So Dr. Zarif, that's what I have for right now. Take it away.
All right, let's do it. Okay, well, the very first thing that I want you to do is to learn more about yourself. And in learning more about yourself, you'll see that when we're talking about the um, body, it's very important that you know about the body, because then you can understand your body more, and you can also understand why we apply the things that we're talking about to the knowledge that you have. And the more clear that you see this, the better it is. We start off with the mouth, and inside of the mouth, this is where you start to break down food. Here, this you're smelling an olfactory system right here in your nose. This is all connected with what you eat, what you taste, and the smell. So the senses is a very, very big part of your eating. But there is a part in here that, for the sake of just focusing on the digestive system, is the absence of the up here. Without, you see that the brain here don't have the drawing up here of the brain. But let me tell you that none of this could go on without the brain. The brain is very, very important to the signals that we get, the messages that we get, and the messages that are received from different parts of the body. So salivary or salivary, you choose, and this is the part where amylase comes out of your mouth or is secreted to break down the foods that we chew. And when we chew these foods, we form what is called a bolus. Just a bolus is like when you have, just before you swallow your food, you form a bolus. And that is all the food that is broken down, or you're starting to chew it. It's not broken down yet. As a matter of fact, if we see a slice of pie, and we get ready to eat it, and even if it's the healthiest pie you've ever had in your life, it cannot be accepted by the body the way that in that particular form. So if you have lettuce or tomatoes or a veggie burger, or if you have a smoothie, whatever you're putting in your mouth, whatever you're ingesting, it has to be broken down to smaller particles so that the body can absorb it. The tongue is a super important part too, because the tongue has much to do with mastication, pushing the food around to the different parts of your mouth and your set of teeth so that it can be broken down. Then we go into the epiglottis. Now, the epiglottis is the part of the digestive system that it keeps you from choking. If you're eating food, you're ingesting something. Well, the epiglottis is that little, it separates the air tube from the food tube. Now, the esophagus right here, the esophagus actually starts way up here, but there's also a trachea here. And remember, we're focusing on the digestive system, so you don't see all of those parts here. But this esophagus is also known as the food tube. Here on the walls of the esophagus, this is all muscular. This tube is muscular. It moves and it conveys the food down to our stomach, the very top of the stomach being the fundus. And this esophagus is also the food tube. That wavy motion that goes down to the stomach is called peristalsis. Now, peristalsis brings the food down here. And then from this, it goes through all the way from the fundus all the way down here to what is called the antrum. We don't need to get that deep so far. So just these are very basic things that you should know about your body. Now, the largest organ in the human body is the liver. And the liver does many things. We're going to go a little bit over that today. but believe me, it does more than just filter. Uh, the stomach again breaks down food, and for those of you that feel that everything has to be alkaline, well, this is proof that it doesn't. Right here, HCl, which is the hydrochloric acid. You also have another acid that helps to break down food, which is called peptic acid. And this is very important for you to know because there's so much misinformation there. If you don't change the information and update your information, you're going to be saying what everybody else is saying. And you're going to also be one of those members of the mis and disinformation club. You don't want to do that because you're not speaking facts, nor do you connect with the reality of how the human body works. If we talk about facts, we're talking about science. If we're talking about science, we're talking about evidence. We're talking about proof. And that's where I'm coming from. So the things that I'll be sharing with you is all about the proof. It's not just about what I'm saying. It's about what has been proven over the decades of study. Now, when we come from the leaving the stomach and down to the antrum of the stomach, you go into the very there is a valve here. I won't go with the sphincter, but the duodenum here. You will hear other people say duodenum. Both of those are correct. They work. We know where they are. Sometimes people have different pronunciations for them. The gallbladder is super important, and this is the part of the body that actually secretes bile. The bile is an emulsifier, and that emulsifier actually breaks down fat. And the reasons for that, can you guess? Well, you're probably right on the nose if you said that the bile helps to break down fat because fat does not mix with water. It floats to the top, so that it can blend, so it can all be one substance. It's important for the bile to break down the fat. Now, next you have like behind the stomach here. Remember, this is just a cartoon, so. But just to give you a good idea how things are located, the pancreas is very important. You hear a lot about insulin. You hear a lot about the beta cells. You hear about the cells that break down, or the cells that actually take sugar that's in your blood, the glucose, to parts of your body, especially as we continue to talk about nutrients. And then when we get to blood, we'll talk about the transferring of oxygen, iron. But for right now, keep in mind, we're talking about the digestive system. Now, from the pancreas, now remember, every time that you eat sugar, every time that you eat food, starch, every time something has to be broken down, what's happening is that these foods are being broken down to give you fuel. Okay, the body needs fuel. In order for it to get fuel, it must break down what you're eating. Now, the better choices that you make, the healthier choices that you make, the better off you are, because now you have the nutrients that can sustain your body in the healthiest way. And you have the different vital organs throughout the body that also need the particles or the nutrients that are being produced by the breaking down of the food that we eat. Now, from here, the stomach, you see, it's behind this, see this green tube? That is your colon. We're going to get to that in a second. Before we get to the colon, we go all the way down to the small, this is all the small intestine. Remember, that starts up here at the duodenum. And as it passes the pancreas, it goes all the way down to the ileum. So you have the duodenum, you have the ileum, and then you have the cecum. So down, it keeps going down, keeps going down. And then there's the cecum. And you also have a connection like a sphincter, which is a group of muscles that's cut off muscles. When you tighten them up, they contract, and when you are relaxed, they're open. And well, the cecum valve here allows the food that has been broken down to enter into the large intestine. Now, the appendix, which many people don't understand and don't think that we actually need it because you've heard that we don't need it, or somebody's told you that. Every part of the body is essential to the optimal use of the body. So the appendix is also a part of our digestive system. Now, there are things that we still don't know about the body. Yeah, everything isn't known about the body. We're constantly studying on and on and on. And the more that we find out about it, the better we can supply it with what it needs in order to give us optimal benefits. So from the cecum up here to this is where we start the food starts to break down even more. It starts to turn to waste. And this waste goes all the way from the ascending colon. This is called the transverse colon from left to right. And then the descending colon. Now, the descending colon comes all of this together is called the large intestine or the colon. Now, from there, there's a little pocket here. There's a sigmoid, but we won't go over that today. It's another part here that then it leads to the rectum. Now, the rectum is the sigmoid is the end of the colon, and the rectum is where waste can the rectum can, instead of you having to defecate and rush and take a high risk of you not being able to manage it, the rectum is there for those certain situations so that you can store temporarily, this isn't for a long time, but to store the waste in the rectum, and then later on you can then defecate, which is to excrete waste. So that is an idea. We'll go over this and over this so that you get more and more familiar with yourself. Most people that just throw anything in their body, they could really benefit from this, because everything that you see here is super, super important. Your gastrointestinal tract is also known as the digestive tract. It's the largest part of your digestive system. Now, digestion again, it means to break down. It means to take something that you've eaten. When you start chewing it, that's part of the digestion. When you swallow it, that's a part of it being digested, means to be broken down even more. Now, composed of a series of connected hollow organs that run from your mouth, like we're talking about, from your mouth. This is a part of your digestive system, to your anus. And that's that long tube at the very end of it that we're talking about, that long, large tube that we saw that was green, that is called your colon. It includes your esophagus, your stomach, your small intestine, and your large intestine. All of these are a part of your digestive system. You can easily ruin your digestive system by eating things that have been refined, those things that have been so-called ultra processed, but in those things that have been enriched. All of those are different processes. Now, I don't want to vilify food, so I don't want to start off like that. I want you to know that when we're talking about food, we're talking about what keeps us, what sustains us. And in order to sustain 7.5 billion people, there are a lot of processes that food goes through, and a lot of things that we will probably not even agree with, because sometimes it's like, what? I can't believe they do that. There are so many things that that is done in order to make sure that we don't starve to death. So a lot of things like canning food, the food that has been processed, foods that we eat as lunch meats and dairy products, and a lot of things that we take for granted. These things are made that way so that, first of all, we have variety. I wouldn't say first of all, but as a matter of fact, the variety helps us to enjoy the food, to be creative with the food, and that's very important. When we eat food and drink liquid, your body breaks down those items into nutrients, and those nutrients are carbohydrates, protein, fats, vitamins, and minerals, so forth, as they travel through the digestive system. Now, those nutrients that are then used for the fuel, and this is some of the things you're going to hear me repeat, because, I wrote this so that I can go straight to it and really give you a concise report on it. But this is also good because repetition is the master of study, which means that you can definitely draw from or remember from having things repeated. Now, you have to consume the nutrients in order to stay alive, period. If we don't have nutrients, then we are malnourished. Malnourishment can lead to chronic sickness, and that can lead to death. And those nutrients that are broken down, the microorganisms living inside of your small and large intestines, go to work to put the nutrients to use. So your gut health refers to the health of your entire digestive system and the health of your microorganisms living in your digestive tract. Yeah, we have live microorganisms in our bodies. And I'm not talking about when people are saying, oh my God, I heard I had a ringworm, or I had a flatworm, or roundworm. If they start, that's a whole different thing, and we won't go on that, not right now anyway. So let's go ahead. Some of the things that I want you to know about this is great for you to also add to the information that you already perhaps you know. Let's start prebiotics and probiotics. These are two substances that actually are healthy for the strength and the effectiveness of your microbiome. Microbiome is the gut, same thing, different ways to it's different titles for it. Now, let's start off with probiotics. Now, you might see these in your store. Probiotics are live microorganisms isolated from humans and then cultured in a lab. And this is to become or to use as a supplement. Okay, so these are live microorganisms. We just talked about some of the microorganisms in the body also. And when we ingest them, whether the food, whether in food form or in supplement form, they survive in the gut, and they provide the benefits to us, like the good bacteria that we naturally have. Good bacteria is the bacteria that's necessary to balance out the so-called bad bacteria. They actually work together. So when people feel like, oh, I got to get rid of all this bacteria, this education will help you to understand why you don't want to flush out the good bacteria. It's it works with the so-called bad bacteria. So remember, good and bad sometimes does not equate to what is healthy and unhealthy. Let's go to prebiotics. Now, the prebiotics, this is the food source for friendly bacteria in your intestinal tract. Now, I want you to understand that this is the food for the so-called good bacteria. And the good bacteria is in your probiotics. So this food, the prebiotics, are very necessary in order to feed or to keep the probiotics a healthy source for the human digestive system. Our digestive system can't break down prebiotics. See, and that's important. Our digestive system can't break those down. So they survive the journey through the digestive tract. Now, they eventually reach the part of the colon where the friendly bacteria hang out. And the bacteria have the chops to break down the prebiotics into nutrition that helps them to grow and to help them to thrive. Now, whether or not you get that, well, after we go over this so many times, it'll become more and more clear to you. But keep in mind the prebiotics and the probiotics work together. Now, when it comes to a gut check, do you have enough friendly bacteria? That's the next thing. You know, how do you get bacteria? And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But for now, just remember that there are a lot of the probiotics are mostly those foods that have been fermented. We'll continue on that in a second. But in a healthy state, you can trust your gut to do the right things for you, since you already have a good composition of friendly bacteria. You won't need pre or probiotics. So if you're eating those foods, for instance, a food with a nice variety in it, you're eating your vegetables, you're eating fruit. Every time when I say eating your vegetables, for some reason, it reminds me of coming up as a little boy. We hear that from our parents a lot. But Americans, unfortunately, don't always live in a healthy state. And this is by one of the really fantastic researchers, Dr. Kresge. And Dr. Kresge goes on to say that people don't eat 25 to 35 grams of fiber that the gut bacteria need to survive and to replicate. So how can we do that to get more fiber? The fiber are the foods that cannot be broken down, or foods, or broken down meaning digested, or the other definition could be the foods that are also partially digested. So keep that in mind. That's fiber. And that's why you want to eat the leaves, all the different lettuces and the different peelings, the peels on the apple, the peels that you get on the apricot, and the peels you get on the peaches and plums. All of these are wonderful examples of fiber. Now, some people may lack in fiber. And if you lack in fiber, the lacking of fiber can actually lead to different diseases. If you lack in fiber, you can be constipated. You can also lack regulation of bowel movement. All of us do that, and this is a very necessary process, of course. Now, the gut dysbiosis refers to the bad state of friendly intestinal bacteria in people whose condition may negatively affect the blend of good intestinal bacteria. So again, as we go over this over and over, it'll become clear to you exactly what you might be missing now. But I've put these things down in a very basic way, so it should be pretty easy for you to grasp the concept. Gut health starts with prebiotics. You know, you can buy a prebiotic or prebiotic supplements, but You don't need them if you eat the foods to fortify the army of friendly bacteria in your intestines. So that's Dr. Kresge goes on to recommend the microbiota loving foods, and they are the fiber rich foods, and that's your fruit, vegetables, whole grains, potatoes. Now, I've heard so many people say, man, don't eat potatoes because it's too much starch. Look, the information is erroneous. Potatoes are a great source of vitamins and minerals and fiber. Potatoes, ideally a boiled or a cooled potato, since the starch is more resistant to digestion. So they do take time to break down. They last a long time, but these are excellent. And especially for those families that may not have the abundance of food, like maybe some of the food like the asparagus, the broccoli, the different types of Brussels sprouts and all that. But this is very important when it comes to you eating the foods that will help maintain the prebiotics. Bananas, that's another one. Now, you do have many people that say, I don't eat bananas because they, some people say it makes them constipated, or other things. But this is also a starchy fruit, and it is very good, high in potassium, and that's really good, and magnesium also. So magnesium and potassium combine for a wonderful antispasmodic, which means it helps your muscles to relax. And it also helps not only your muscles to relax, but it helps you to stay in a calm state. Jerusalem artichokes is next, and that's a root. The root vegetable is just like ginger. A root vegetable is just like your carrots, and so on. Okay, so below ground. Root vegetable is rich in prebiotic inulin. Okay. Now, the symbiotic blends, both pre and pro. I suggest that people get their probiotics and prebiotics from a healthy diet. But if you need to take a supplement, in choosing, here is like a product that has a seal of approval or from the testing agencies, such as the Consumer Reports or the Consumer Labs. Then you have the probiotic capsule that's packaged with inulin, which is also inulin is also a nutrient. So if the probiotic, it can be packaged in inulin or other prebiotics. Lastly, a probiotic in a spore form, which can survive on the shelf or the digestive tract. So these are some good, it's beautiful to have a variety of things to choose from. Now, there's a lot of different diseases that one can definitely contract, and diverticulosis is one of those. Now, diverticulosis is a condition of having small pouches or pockets in the inside walls of your intestines. Now, that diverticula, that's those little pockets all the way through your large intestine. They can become inflamed, and once they become inflamed, then it's called diverticulitis. The term diverticulosis comes from the word divert, indicating that the path through the intestines is diverging into these side pockets. Several pouches are called diverticula, and one pouch is called diverticulum, and they also completely occur in the again back into the colon, the large intestine. Now, some people, they feel that when they have any pain in their large intestine, that it's time to go get a colonic, or they say, I need to have a fat flush, or I need to have a some kind of enema or something of that nature. But understanding, again, you see, even here we went over diverticula. Now you know those pockets there, and the sigmoid colon and the entire colon, the ascending, the descending colon. All of those now become important because you have to know the anatomy and also the physiology in order to understand how that part functions. Diverticulosis is a condition of having diverticula. Now, diverticulitis means that there's inflammation in at least one of the diverticula. So it can be one pocket that's inflamed that can cause your body to feel off balance, cramping up, not being able to use the bathroom. Or you can have from loose stool all the way to constipation. You can strain and have blood show up in your stool, or sometimes little spots of blood, and sometimes none at all. This usually means that there's bacteria infection inside it. Now, the diverticula by themselves may not cause you to feel any pain or have any symptoms, but it is important that you acknowledge the warning of having diverticulitis or diverticulosis, because it can be very, very distracting. So check with your doctor if you want to get checked. They do have different apparatus that can give you a complete checkup. Okay, so I'm going to just go down here just for a second. We're going to go back to care, and we're going to come back. We're almost there already. Wow. Let me see here. Care, are you there? Okay. So I don't see care. I don't see care here. So I'm going to go ahead and just continue. Well, I want to invite, I want to say thank you very much for being here. As we go through this, I'm going to just say hello to a few people, because that's why I could do this live, because I want to stop and acknowledge you. So thank you so much for being here. So let's see who we have here with us on Instagram. I want to say hello to what is this? Plantastic Beginners. Plantastic Beginners, welcome. So glad that you're here. And we also have author Natasha Smith is here. Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate your discipline, and please share. Let's pass the word. And we'd love to also have your subscription. The other folks that have shown up here, let's see if we can see a few people. Ryan OJ from Detroit is in the house. Thank you very much for being here. And let me see, we got to work on that. I think some of the most of the people that will be coming to listen and to take this in, and this is a holiday season, so I'm very, very thankful for those of you that are seeing it now, and thank you for those who are coming later to see it also. Okay, all right. So we're gonna with that, I want to go back so that we can finish up on this and talk about the importance of understanding gut health. Now, gut health also, without even looking at any notes or anything, is that you know what are some of the foods that you should be eating. And some of the foods that you should be eating, again, should be, you can have part of the food that you eat in a day can be raw vegetables. Earlier in the day, it can be raw fruit. And as you go along in the day, you can have like baked or steamed vegetables. And the fruit is actually better in the morning because you're getting the food that will start the day off, and you have just enough sugar, you have just enough carbohydrates, and you have that pure water coming from those pieces of fruit, and that ignites or gets you started with your first bowel movement. And that is perfect because now you're starting with a clean slate. Now, most people don't have symptoms of diverticulosis alone. you're likely to never notice it. It's like you're this asymptomatic. And if you have symptoms of illness, such as lower abdominal pain or fever, you might have an infection, and that's diverticulitis. Okay. Now, it also is possible to have symptoms as a side effect of another disease in your intestines that makes the diverticula more sensitive to pressure. For example, if you have a irritable bowel syndrome or IBS, or you have inflammatory bowel disease, that's IBD, food waste passing through the diverticuli may cause tenderness and bloating. Now, food you're talking about waste food, that's the food that has been broken down and it's on its way out of your body. Now, if you're prone to constipation, which is impact stool, it may get stuck in the pockets, and that's making it worse. So sometimes it's very important for you to use other applications to help you through this period and this situation. About 10% of the people with diverticulosis may have some diverticuli bleeding. That's where you get the bleeding from. Remember, I was talking about that earlier in your stool. Super important. Now, this can happen if the hard stool passing through the diverticulum erodes or stretches the blood vessel until it breaks. Sounds pretty violent, huh? Now, it's usually temporary, and it's usually painless, but it happens, and you might see fresh blood in your waist as you defecate. You have bleeding, persistent symptoms, or the complications from diverticulosis, and all of this is called diverticular disease. Okay, so this is easy. As you see, it's very easy for you to have this and not even know what the heck is happening to you, because you might not get that many warnings, or you might not get anything that says you have that particular disease. Now, why don't we know more about this? Because we are so filled with the commercials and wanting to have fun and the utopia, the euphoria of eating these foods that make you feel good. So nobody wants to be told that they cannot eat their fried chicken. Nobody wants to be told that, no, don't eat those nice tender ribs. Nobody wants to be told that. Or how about banana pudding, or peach cobbler, or apple cobbler? Those things, those are things that we're used to eating. Sweet potato pie. If you ate a little taste of that, I guess you would say, hey, that's not enough. You'll want more. But it's very important, because this colon right here that you see on here can definitely operate in a way that is much better than if you're eating junk. If you're eating junk, you are putting into your body things that will definitely trip you up. So again, let's go through the parts of this colon. First, you have the appendix. From there, you have the cecum. From the cecum, you have the ascending colon. From there, you have the transverse colon, down to the descending colon. And then the part we talked about earlier, the sigmoid, which is the end of the colon connected to the rectum. Remember, that is that little pocket where it can help us to manage waste. It can help us to hold on to waste until we get to a bathroom. And then we have the anus. And the anus, of course, is the sphincter. Sphincter is that muscle that allows you to have a good bowel movement, or to cut it off. Okay, good. So as we go on, what is the main cause of diverticulitis? A lot of those things can let me just go back here just a little bit, and then I'll move on from there. The things that can cause diverticulitis, researchers suspect that the leading cause of diverticulosis is the standard Western diet. That's what we eat. I was going to bypass this, but you need to know that, and I need to keep saying it. And sometimes you can see that people are offended by it. And let me be on your side on that. When you're offended by what I'm teaching you or what somebody else is teaching you about your own body to make you healthier, the reason that you're offended is because it is natural for you to defend yourself. Yes, a whole defense mechanism to say that I eat what I want to eat. Nobody can tell me, I'm going to do it a different way. And unfortunately, a person continues doing what they've been doing, and just to later on find out that was not helpful. So remember that the standard American diet or standard Western diet, which is low in plant fiber and is high in processed starches. This diet contributes to dense food waste that moves sluggishly through the bowels and fails to sweep them clean on the way. In other words, this food or waste is going through your ascending colon, your transverse colon, and descending colon, but it's not doing what the fiber does. Fiber will just rake all of that stuff. It'll bring all of that stuff with it as it cleans out the body. So there's a lot of other risks too. And it's possible that genetics are partly involved if you have the diverticulosis. Western diet aside, diverticulosis is more common in white Americans. So Caucasians, that's the Americans, the Europeans, and Australians, and they have that more than Black folks and other groups. Let's move along here. So foods to eat for diverticulitis. Let's look at some of those foods because these are the foods that will help you to avoid and manage obesity, the lack of exercise, poor diet, and aging. Sometimes if you're not taking care of yourself, you age faster. And you will see people, look at people that are teaching you about what they say, hey, I'm going to train you. You want a person with a good body or a healthy looking body if they're going to do that. But it's a little different, isn't it? Because a lot of times a person that is training you is there because they have the eye and they have the imagination. So a lot of times they won't look anything like what they're talking about. And when it comes to nutrition, it's the same thing. People can talk about nutrition and they look like they're not healthy at all. And when you're listening to them, you're kind of partially believing them. And then you're like, so make sure you do your due diligence. Anything that you hear me say here, check it out. You can, everything that I'm saying here is backed by NIH and CDC. Is also the USDA and the FDA, all of these and other different groups that have done these studies, because I don't ever want to lead you wrong. And this is all about you bettering yourself. It's not about me benefiting from it. This is about us working together, of course, and you can get past it. I'm going to go to some of these. There was a time the doctors thought that some foods should be avoided with diverticulitis because these foods could get stuck and cause inflammation. These foods include popcorn, nuts, seeds, and corn. Doctors no longer recommend avoiding these foods, but these are foods that used to be a fact. And that's why I said to you earlier, facts change, but principles don't. So don't be surprised. What? I thought that was, yes, that's old knowledge. That's why we do what we do here. We would definitely want to motivate. We want to update and educate. So I'm going to go past a lot of stuff because we don't have a lot of time. But there are like people that are going to think about detoxing. Now I'm going to just do this right fast so that you can get pissed off with me because I'm about to step on some toes. Why do people use the cleanses and detoxes? Because they want to feel that it increases their energy. They want to lose weight, which is eating in this way can cause a person to lose weight because of the laxatives and of the decoction, that formula. It can give you relief of constipation, reduce headaches, and some of the muscle aches and fatigue. So, how does it happen? Well, the theory is that eliminating the solid foods or the specific food groups help your body to shed toxins and gumming up in your system. Detoxification diets and cleanses often recommend consuming primarily drinks like special water, tea, or fruit or vegetable juices. The idea is to give the digestive system a break, allowing it to heal and better absorb nutrients in the future. And most of the time, the ingredients suggested in the cleanse or detox aren't necessarily bad for you. So they have like really good herbs and a combination of vitamins, and some have minerals, and it's all mixed up in that one batch. Now, the terms cleanse and detox are often used interchangeably. So a person, I need to cleanse, or a person, I need a flush, or I need to detox. They are interchangeably used. Pardon me. In some cases, they're even merged in phrasing. A detox cleanse, for instance. Okay. Now, if there is a subtle difference, though, it's this, that cleanses tend to focus more directly on your digestive system and literally flushing you out. So you heard me say a fat flush earlier. I get that from Queen Latifah, but this is super important that you understand these phrases. So flushing out, while detoxing may take a broader approach than that extends to your kidneys, your liver, and other organs. So get it? So your cleanse and detox, they're basically the same, but when the cleanse and the detox, they are used interchangeably, but sometimes they're used together. Same thing. Okay, so how are we doing? Now it is 9:00. Good God, we're going to go ahead. I want you to know that when you also, one of the things about detoxification, it makes one feel good, just like it does like when you're fasting. You feel like you got a new start. You can start all the way over again, and it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, hey, I'm doing a healthy thing. But keep in mind that your body also does that. There are different fruits and vegetables that you can eat. Possible benefits of a cleanse or a detox. Finding food sensitivities is very important. If eliminating a certain food from your diet during a cleanse or a detox makes you feel better, well, you may just have found a potential food sensitivity. So food sensitivity means that when you do eat it, you like it, but it makes you feel something makes you feel a little crampish, or your mood changes, or things of that nature. But when you take it out of your meal plan, you feel better. And so if you have any suspicions about that, you can check it out, because it might be a potential food sensitivity. All right. I am not ready to go, but I'm going to I have to stick to the plan. So we'll go now. We write 1 hour on the nose. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. We're going to bring up Karen if there's any questions. We're going to see if we can answer those questions.
Yes, I am here. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif, and thank you to everyone for joining us. I just wanted to say and give a big shout out to Ricia Varela, because Dr. Zarif, she puts put a video up asking what topics we would like to you would like to hear about, and she mentioned gut health, and that's where
Yay.
subject came from.
Well,
So I just
good.
wanted to make sure I shouted her out. That was on Instagram, and it's actually we put it on Instagram and on Facebook as well. So I'm sure you're going to do it again, Dr. Zarif, as far as putting that video up. We put polls up and just suggestions on topics that you would like to hear. So we really want to hear back from you, the audience, what you would like the either snippet videos or long form videos here on YouTube, whatever topic you'd like. Just go ahead and drop your comments in there, and then that way we can know what you want. So, Rosia Varela, that was on Instagram, that answered. So, thank you so much for that.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Now I see another, actually, right here. This is a question that says, share some of the Indian Asian raw fruits for gut health issues, passing stew without any sensation or no urge, urinary bladder chronic issues. There are a lot of different issues. First of all, let me just say thank you for your comment and question. You know, there are a lot of things that you can help to go away or correct, or you can use. There definitely some of the Asian Asian raw fruits, along with other tropical fruits from all over the world. These are some of the fruits that we don't eat on a common basis, but are very healthy for us because they're packed with nutrients. So not just, and I think his name is Vidya. Vidya is talking about. So I'm glad that you brought that up. This is really important to help you to especially reduce inflammation. This is really wonderful to boost your healing frequency. It's just really, and that just means how fast it takes you to heal and to get deeper rest, and the things that we also talked about as far as energy. Or he goes on to say, no urge, urinary bladder, chronic disease issues, or chronic issues. Now, when you get to urinary and bladder issues, it's really important. I would suggest that people, first of all, make sure that you have the positive diagnosis. In other words, don't just guess. Make sure that you go and get one. Not that Vidya is guessing or anything like that, but I want to extend that suggestion. Make sure you got it before you thinking that you're taking yourself through all of this and don't have it. You simply can correct that by getting an examination. Your urinary bladder, again, when you have these issues where you have urinary retainment or retention, and you're just dribbling just a little bit, or some people at some points they can't even dribble. It's time for you to go check out. Even if you don't have it, check it out early to make sure that your bladder is functioning the way that it's supposed to function. Make sure that you are emptying the urinary content. Okay, so that's some of the things that I can do real fast for you. Okay, what else is here? Enable to, let me see, bladder issues. Enable to old urine and passing stool again and again during urination issues. Okay. Yeah, I would say it sounds like there's some kind of um, process that you're aware of. There might be something that you want to explain more, and if people want to get more information about that, just check out Vidya right here, Vidya slant K, and find out more information from him. But I appreciate you being here. We got to go, and we appreciate it very much that everybody was here and we held on. Hey, Ron OJ, how you doing, brother? It's great to see you. And what's up to everybody in Detroit again? Uh, if those people that I should say to video also, if I'm misreading what you're saying and you are wanting more information, just simply you can contact me, or you can do your due diligence and just research it and find out exactly, because that's definitely well publicized. And if you want to have any counseling, let's go to drzarif.com and set up you an appointment right away. Okay. All right. Here we go with the wonderful Care.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Zarif. And I'm glad that you mentioned for Vidya being able to go to drzarif.com and getting a consultation. That would, I'm sure, be the best way for you to have a one-on-one with him. So again, thank you everyone for joining us here in the Mind of Nature. Dr. Zarif's mission is to elevate, update, and educate us on the information that you hear. So thank you all so much. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already, and also look out for the post from either Facebook, Instagram, and even on YouTube. We're putting up polls, finding out what you, the audience, would like to hear from us, and what topics you would like to talk about. So we are here every Saturday, 8 a.m. PST. So thank you all so much for joining us. I see James Norman's always great optimal lifestyle content, Dr. Farid and Carolyn. Keep it coming. Thank you so much, James Norman. We really do appreciate that. Dr. Zarif, do you have anything else for the people?
Yeah, we want to just thank you again. Look, if you have comments, I really appreciate. Go on those. Go on Facebook. Go on, the Instagram, and leave good. If you leave these, nobody can top your testimony. You leave us a testimonial. Let people know that they are getting information. Telling me that, I really appreciate it, but it does so much more when you do it and let the people know. Some of you say things that's so beautiful, I just gotta share it with everybody. So please make sure that you share those things that you're telling us. You like our fitness classes, you love the information that you're getting. How did it help you or your loved ones? Who told you about us, and bring them here too. But we definitely want everybody to be involved, get subscribe. Make sure that you become a member. Don't be afraid. This ain't no thing where you got like, I didn't think it would be right. Do it, man. Let's move. We on, life is short. Let's get it done. Remember today, some of the things that we talked about. You gotta, if you want to have a bowel movement on a regular basis, you gotta eat those fresh fruits and vegetables. You gotta steam and bake. You gotta stop eating the processed and enriched and ultra processed foods, period. You just can't do it. Your body becomes sensitive to it, and then you got another problem of food sensitivity. So that's very important. If you're serious about getting a healthy body, just keep meeting us here, 8 a.m. on Saturdays, PST, and we're going to bring you a great subject every time. As you see, we run out of time because there's just so much stuff to unpack, but we'll come back to it, and we'll do a part 2, a part 3, a part 4 if we have to. Thanks a lot for coming, everybody. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.
And I am Carolyn. Thank you all so much for joining us.